erase the edges, worn and torn. Time captured in frames, weathered and worn. See your smiles, whispers from the past. Moments frozen, yet they slip so fast. Old photographs, the stories they keep, echoes of laughter, shadows that weep. Each faded corner, a chapter unfolds, memories lingering warm, though cracks in the paper like lines on my skin. Tales of where we've been and where we begin. Eyes meet the lens, a moment divine, caught in the flicker of a long lost time. Dust dances softly, sunlight's embrace illuminates the love the years can't erase. Silent witnesses, these fragile remains. Hold the joy, the heartache, the bittersweet pains. Old photographs, the stories they keep, echoes of laughter, shadows that weep. Each faded corner, a chapter unfolds, memories lingering warm. Though a child on a swing, a smile so wide, a wedding veil, a groom by her side. Generations stitched in a fragile thread, lives intertwined even when they fled. Dust on the glass, memories in bloom, echoes of laughter in a sunlit room. Corners curling, edges worn thin. Stories of the past, where do they begin? Faded frames, whispers in my hand. Moments frozen, a timeless strand. Faces smiling through sepia skies. Old photographs where love never dies. Dance in the grain, a shadowed glow. Secrets the silver can never show. A world paused, yet it moves me still. Captured forever against my will. Yellowed paper, crumbling spine. The years have etched their fragile line, but in the blur, the truth remains. A heart that beats through the stains. Faded frame, of what once was, silent keepers without applause. Dusty corners, time frozen in a frame. Fingers trace the edges, whispering names. Eyes meet shadows of a life once bright. In sepia tones, they dance in the light. Old photographs, they speak without sound. 1,000 stories in a box I found. Each faded smile, a tale to unfold. Echoes of warmth in the touch of the cold. Wrinkled paper, creased by the years, smudged by laughter, stained by tears. Faces linger though the years drift wide, holding moments where the heart used to hide. Corners curling, their secrets untold. Time slips away, but these memories hold. A silent orchestra, a melody plays, waltzing through echoes of faraway days. Old photographs, they speak without sound. 1,000 stories in a box I found. Each faded smile, a tale to unfold. Echoes of warmth in the touch of the cold. A child with a kite, a wedding bouquet. Autumn leaves in a world washed away. They're not just pictures, they're fragments of me. Scattered reflections of who I used to be. A child with a kite, a wedding bouquet. Autumn leaves in a world washed away. They're not just pictures, they're fragments of me. Scattered reflections of who I used to be. Dust on the corners, frames in decay. Fingers trace the years that slipped away. Silent whisper,